his comments that he made on a podcast saying that, or the tweet was, how could Chris Jericho mention the names of Roddy Piper, Razor Ramon, and Orange Cassidy in the same sentence? And it was alluding to who are some of the greatest of all time that never won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
And he started by saying, if you want to talk old school, the ones that have, come and gone, he says, Roddy Piper, Razor Ramon, your guy. And then he says the modern era, Orange Cassidy starts him with him. And you didn't like this. All
No.
right. I don't if I understand what he is trying to say, I just wish he worded it differently.
Well, okay, I understand what he's saying because he's saying like, okay, if we're talking about the past, it's this, and
Yeah.
then if we're talking about right now, this is who I think should be world champion. But
Yes.
then it was like, the thing is though he then goes and lists other people. Like he literally lists Sammy Guevara.
That pissed me off. No, no, no,
Like
no. That's the one where I was like, all right, Chris,
it,
that's
it's
your
like,
buddy.
yeah,
Like,
we get you're a homer, dude. Like we get it. Okay, I think
yeah.
that yeah, he just didn't go about clarifying the difference in what he was talking about. So it's like the question was, who were some great wrestlers that never became champion that should have been? Then why are we even talking about the modern era? You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be talking about guys who are still active and still young in their career and they could
Yeah.
eventually become world champion. Not to mention, stop listing off the entire AEW locker room. That's like what he was doing. And it's like,
Yeah.
stop it. Like, if we're supposed to value the championship and what it means to be a champion and like the face of the company, then don't list all of your friends as the ones that should be in line to be a champion, because that's not a thing. That's not, and you're just trying to put your guys over.
Yeah,
But
I agreed with the Orange Cassidy. I do believe he should be world champion one day, but that wasn't the question, and that's where Chris Jericho just does Chris Jericho things.
yeah, he's just trying to hype up AEW. That's what he was
Yeah,
doing.
that's all it was. But he did leave some pretty big names off there to me. One of them I said right away to you was Mr. Perfect.
Hmm.
That's the one. I don't know how Mr. Perfect didn't become WWE champion. The other one is Jake the Snake.
I feel
Uh,
like he just
just
like said the ones that everyone says. It's like he almost didn't really know. You know what I mean? Like everyone says
I would
Piper
say he
and
didn't
Ramon.
care. I think
Yeah.
he didn't care.
Yeah, he just didn't. He was
He
like, okay,
wanted to
well, these are the
push.
ones that I know, but that's it. And then it's like, I just want to put my guys over. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
like you can name DiBiase. I already said Perfect, DiBiase, Jake the Snake. I'm trying to think of ones not modern, but from like the early 2000s. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. But I
Yeah.
mean, I could think if you gave me a couple minutes, I could think of some
Well, because
pretty
once
big
you
names
get
from the
to the
early
more
2000s.
modern era, everyone was becoming champion.
Everyone did.
Like it was a
Everyone
it was
did.
a title that was passed around a lot more than it did
That's
in the
a good
90s and the
one.
80s, where people were champion for 4 years, 8 years, 3 years. You know what I mean? And then once we hit like the 2000, it was like,
Hmm.
okay, everyone's passing the title around. So it's kind of hard to
Yeah,
pick someone from the modern era, really.
like even Great Khali won.
I know.
Like maybe
Woof.
Umaga if there was more depth to his character, but like Wade Barrett, Micah is. I put your comment up here for a reason. Uh, Wade Barrett is easily someone who I believe could have been world champion if he stayed healthy, but
And booked
unfortunately,
him
no.
correctly, because he went through so many character shifts. It was like you couldn't ever really get behind them, because it was either like he was the leader of some weird corny group, or they were trying to push him as a singles guy, but they never really did anything with him. Like the only character that really hit was Bad News Barrett, and that didn't
Yeah,
last very long.
because of injuries.
Yeah.
Rick Rude, that's another good one, Chris. That's another good one, Rick Rude.